Welcome, everybody, and happy Halloween. It is 7 o'clock on Wednesday. Time for Sci-Fi Distilled. Welcome back, Mary Beth. As
Hello. How goes?
How's it going? It's going.
It's going. It was beautiful today. It was like 70 something.
And summer that we're having.
We're enjoying. Yeah, it was nice.
So 70 degrees here in the afternoon. So
absolutely gorgeous.
Very pleasant.
But I believe it's
bugs have gone to hell already, so it's nice to sit outside.
That's the best part.
And enjoy the warmer weather without getting eaten alive. So, hey, Jeff and Bill, thank you for joining us already. So we are continuing our Halloween tradition of Halloween movies. I guess it's a Halloween movie.
This is absolutely a Halloween movie. This is a great Halloween movie. Even though the opening scene is Christmas carols, it is still a Halloween movie.
Yeah, but it ends on Halloween.
Yeah, it ends.
The very last scene is on Halloween. So
they live their lives in a Halloween manner.
Yeah, the whole thing is Halloween.
There's
hang on. Thanks for joining us.
Steve Harvey is communicating with me really quick here.
Tell him we're busy. You should know this by now. Anyway, so the 1991. This is the Addams Family film debut. But before we get into that, I think we have a little bit of news.
I have the tiniest amount of news, but Rizzo, I am interested in hearing your opinions on these little tiny newses. Rhys Darby. Do you know which one Rhys Darby is?
The name's familiar.
Let me pull him up real quick. He's New Zealand. He's largely a comedian. I don't know that he's done a lot of drama, but he does Our Flag Means Death, Fly the Conchords, What We Do in Shadows. Like, he's one of those guys.
Mm-hmm.
He is joining the Strange New Worlds cast as a legacy character. So the internet is abuzz. Which legacy character?
Which one's left?
Well, it could. I don't think it's Roger Corby because he's been cast already. It could be Dr.
McCoy.
No. Pike's doctor, the white hair.
Oh, Bryce.
Yes. Could be Dr. Bryce. It could be Trelane.
We're not saying it's not automatically a Star Trek crew member. It could be an extra, a one-off.
It could be, it could be anything. So who's comedic, or what character would need that comedic touch?
Unless they're going to bring, if they're going to bring back Harry, they should obviously bring back Rain.
Well, Rain. I'd rather have Rain.
Yeah, Rain did a really good job as Harry Mudd. What's his name from Trouble with Tribbles?
Could be what's his name from Trouble.
The guy that, what was his name? That was the character's name. The guy that brought the Tribbles on board in the first place.
Yeah.
Charlie Brill. No, Charlie Brill was Iron.
Oh yeah, no, not Charlie Brill. The other one.
The other guy, the traitor that brought.
Or this Strange New Worlds teased Cybok. Could it be Cybok?
Oh God, please no.
Well, could it be Kang?
Release your pain.
Kang. Could it be Kang?
No. Kang. I know. I was doing Cybok. That was my.
Release your pain. Sorry, I can't.
My pain.
Going deaf.
I've been listening to a lot of Trek experts, so I'm going to keep doing this because that's all they do is throw out lines from movies.
Okay. All right. Well, anyway, that was my one.
I don't know. I don't have an opinion until I really know who it is, and even then, that seems to be their MO lately. Is we just keep bringing
rehash
back from
boldly go where we've already
been. Boldly go where we've been before. Yeah, I mean, just kind of the same. So we'll see.
You know why? Because they saw it worked so well for Picard season 3, so they're like, "That's the ticket. That's the goal."
They were doing it before Picard. I mean, like Kirk was like all over the place. I'm like, why is there so much Kirk? And then we had O'Bara, and we had, and Durst Chapel and Nabanga and all these other people that really didn't belong on Pike's Enterprise, in my opinion.
No, I agree.
What they should have done is watch The Cage. And took some of those characters that never returned and brought them back, like Bryce.
Yeah.
Bryce should have been. They should have got a guy to play Bryce.
It should have been Bryce. I don't know why it was the guy.
They had a couple other people. the redhead, and the female there. She was
Colt.
she was like a yeah. So I mean, bring some of those people in.
No, we had to have Uhura, and now Scotty's there, and
it would have been nice to
George
see
Kirk,
maybe like a cadet Gary Mitchell or something.
A cadet Gary Mitchell, that would be an excellent choice.
Yeah, somebody like we haven't really seen much of, and
yeah,
and at least it might fit the timeline. I don't know.
Well, we'll find out, I guess. Do we know when this thing is airing? I thought we did, but did I write it down?
The Lower Decks is what, end of the month?
Well, yeah. Lower Decks tomorrow. We will get 2 episodes tomorrow, and then we'll get 1 a week every Thursday night, including Thanksgiving, right through until December 19. I am still devastated that this thing is ending. The trailer. Oh, I saw the Strange New Worlds trailer.
Kelso, good. That was another.
Yeah, it could be Kelso.
Yeah,
could be. Who's the Irish one that would sing "I'll Take You"?
Oh, yeah.
Could be him.
Yeah. What the heck is this?
Sit down in engineering and be drunk and sing.
I'll take you home again, Kathleen.
One more time. Sing it again.
You try to shut him off.
We do try to shut him off. So yeah, tomorrow I'm really excited. Like I'm half excited for Lower Decks and I'm half devastated. Like I still am kind of holding out hopes that maybe.
Yeah, no, they're not gonna. No, they're done. They don't.
6 seasons in a movie. It's 6 seasons in a movie. People, come on.
I know, but they don't reverse themselves, and this is the era of no reversals.
But I don't get it. That's like the one good. That was the one good show, and now they're giving a Starfleet Academy. I don't really care. Section 31.
The show that nobody wants.
The show that there's Tony. There's Riley. Thank you guys. It is Riley. Thank you.
Yeah,
what was I just telling you before the show started? I was like, I have insomnia and I don't remember anything anymore.
What We Do in the Shadows also dropped this week.
Oh, does it? I love that.
It did already. It's already available on Hulu. There are 3 episodes on Hulu already. This will be the last season for that. If you guys have not watched What We Do in the Shadows, you need to watch.
You gotta watch it. It's hilarious.
It's hilarious.
If you like to have your tongue firmly planted in your cheek while you do vampire things.
It's a good Halloween show too, because it's vampires. So.
Bill wants it to be Star Trek's Futurama that keeps coming back. Yeah, I would love that. I would live Lower Decks with Star Trek's Futurama.
Yeah, you never know. But I don't know what their reasoning is. They get something successful
and it was their cheapest show to produce. Like, I don't get it. I just don't get it.
So
whatever.
I don't know. You'd have to ask somebody who's worked. Maybe we could get when it's done, maybe your Dayton Ward would come back on the show and he was an advisor on that show.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah, Dayton, come back and explain to us the demise of
Dayton and see what's what. Have to wait till it's over though.
Yeah.
He usually doesn't want to talk about it when it's
airing. Yeah.
All right. Anyway, is that
that's it? No, that's it. New York City Comic Con was last weekend, but I'm still parsing out everything we learned from that. So, what are we drinking?
What are we drinking
this fine evening while we visit the Addamses?
Morticia.
She has her own signature drink.
2 ounces of sorrel liquor, 1 ounce of sake, and hard cider.
Wow, that's very Morticia.
And if you go to the website, if you can't find sorrel liquor, there was a substitute. So I don't know what sorrel liquor.
I've had sake.
I've had is hard basically cider. A rice wine.
How will hard cider and sake go together? I can still go together.
Sake is a lot like, in a way, it's like vodka, where it doesn't have a huge strong flavor.
Yeah, it doesn't have a huge strong flavor.
It's like mostly just alcohol.
Yeah.
So I mean, I like sake. As long as you have to have it warm. Drink it properly. So anyway, there it is. And I've been putting the websites.
Yes, thank you for doing that. Because
so that you can go directly and give those people kudos for their drink, and I'm not stealing their crap. So
there we go. Gotta give the dog his cookie because he's just desperate.
I feel like you got a beard. Like you need to trim his beard.
He's like, just never mind talking to these people.
He looks like an old man.
He is. He's a very much an old man, this dog. All right. So, why you love this movie.
I do love this movie.
Tell us why.
I love it. I think I love it because of Raul Julia. I love his performance, and I do love Christopher Lloyd's performance as Fester. I think those two together. I mean, really, the whole cast. I know I say, but like when you start going through the cast, they all were really great.
Yeah,
I think there was really kind of one of those things where the casting was perfect.
Yes, even Christina Ricci, who was quite young,
who was only 11 when she played Wednesday Addams, and she really nailed it because she really gave you the creepy vibe of that kid, you know. But I think Raul I think he just really embodied Gomez in this, you know, from the original TV show. I think that kind of wackiness.
Yeah.
That's silly. Yeah, it's just he always had kind of always upbeat. But you remember the original, you know, John Astin was always he never got down. He was never upset. He was always happy and kind of like, you know, just carefree and almost childlike. And I think Raul really captured that, you know, in his performance. It's just I don't know how to describe it. And unfortunately, we lost him only a few years later.
Yes.
Shortly after he did the sequel to this.
Yeah, he did do Addams Family Values, but then the third one, Addams Family Reunion, they pulled in Tim Curry to replace him. So
yeah, and it didn't. Yeah, and of course, Angelica Houston as Morticia was again another good pick. She has that very stoic. She was more the serious. She was like the straight man to
General Kirk, like the old movie.
Yeah, she always had her. Well, she was always kind of the sensible, the straight person.
Yeah, she's the grounded one.
She's more grounded.
And he's more, you know, whimsical. He's going off on.
I guess is what the word I'm looking for.
He's off on his fantasy or whatever.
Yes.
But yeah, I completely agree with everything you said, and that was my number one comment for this film. Like, admittedly, okay, maybe the plot wasn't the best. It doesn't matter. These performers embodied, like, just created this world and embodied these characters so brilliantly. Yeah, they were genius. They were really genius the way they went about this. And they I found out that they went to the first table read when they all got together, and the original script left it ambiguous at the end whether Fester was really Fester or whether it still was an imposter. And they decided as a cast, like all of them decided as a group, they're like, no, Fester should be Fester. Like it should be Fester.
Yeah.
And for whatever reasons, for reasons I don't completely understand, they put Christina Ricci in, like 10-year-old Christina Ricci. Go in and talk to the producers and tell them we think it's and she did, and it worked. And they were like, okay, yeah, we'll change the ending. We'll make Fester Fester. So.
Yeah, I mean, I never would have seen the point of doing it the other way because I mean, that was kind of nice that the family was all together again, the family that we knew, you know. And I don't know in the original, maybe somebody watching now, in the original show, was it established that Fester was Gomez's brother? I always thought he was from Morticia's side of the family.
I thought Grandmama was from Morticia's side.
Grandmama definitely was because she would have been. Now that had to be because
in this particular
plot, Fester would not have gotten possession of the house. It would have gone to the grandmother because she was the oldest living relative. But because of Morticia's mother,
so yeah, Wiki claims that it was in fact Gomez's older brother. I'm
not arguing it. I watching it the original show as a kid, which is part of why I like this movie. I loved the TV show as a kid more than I did the Monsters, which came out around the same time.
Hang on, Fester may have been Morticia's uncle on the show, on the TV show back in the 60s.
That's what I mean.
It was uncle-in-law.
Christopher LaRoche is saying Fester was Gomez's brother in the show. I don't remember enough of the episodes to where they may have actually said who he was, but they may have referred to him as,
yeah.
Anyway, it's irrelevant. It doesn't matter.
It is irrelevant, but
important. I think wait,
I just found an Addams Family tree on Wikipedia. So there's Grandmama. And Grandmama had Uncle Fester and Cousin It. That doesn't make sense. That can't be right. Oh, and Gomez. And then, so I guess Cousin It is one of Grandmama's kids.
Well, Grandmama is see, that doesn't make sense for the movie because the way they said the oldest living relative has ownership of the Addams estate. Plus, it had to be male. She would have been the one that had the house control of the house, right?
I wonder if I can share screen so you guys can see this family tree, or maybe we don't care. Maybe we don't care.
You should be able to hit present. Do you have present down the bottom?
Oh, there it is. There's present. Share screen. Share screen. Wikipedia. Gomez, Addams, share. All right. Hopefully you guys can see this. See, there's Grandma Mom.
You can't see it yet. I have to add it.
Oh.
There we go.
There we go. So there's Grandma Mom up top. And under her, directly under her, they put Fester, Cousin It, and Gomez. See, I always thought Grandmama was Morticia's mother. Oh, well, I got that wrong. There's Gomez and Morticia, and they have Wednesday and Pugsley. And this does follow the movie.
That doesn't mean, wait a minute. By this thing, that doesn't mean that Gomez and Fester are brothers.
Yeah, it does.
So then how is it Cousin It? It should be Brother It.
It should be Brother It, yeah. That's messed up. Cousin It shouldn't be here.
I know. First of all, let me tell you guys, don't use Wikipedia as the end all be all of because anybody can go in and change this. And yeah,
you're right. There's Raul, but then up here there's John.
There's John Astin. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna stop
sharing. Will always be the original. To me, I mean, I love again getting back to. So I used to watch the TV show all the time. It was on in the afternoons. And I like I said, I for some reason found this show more entertaining than the Munsters. I used to watch the Munsters, but they're very similar. They're kind of competing. But I think the Munsters were just, could you say sillier than this? I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know why. I thought this was more clever.
This was a smarter presentation. It's a little bit, you have to, even from the original cartoons, you have to look at them twice. You have to look at them carefully to see everything that's going on in the cartoon and pick everything up. It is a smarter show.
So, but moving to this was really, I don't know if was there anything in between. There was no cartoon. I know the cartoons came in, I think, after the movie. So this was probably the first. Was this the first iteration of anything spin-off or remake of the show? Anyone know? Anyone know the effects? It did not work.
I'm just looking it up right here. I think TV shows. Let's pluralize that so we can see all of them. Yeah, I think it went the TV show in the 1960s, and then this, and then animated. There were several animated.
There were several iterations of animation. In fact, there was just a recent animated movie not that long ago.
So yeah, Addams Family, 1964 to 1966. Scooby-Doo meets the Addams Family, that does not count. The Addams Family Funhouse, that does not count. And then 1973 was the Addams Family's first animated series. There were a couple one-offs like Halloween with the Addams Family and a few other things like that. Then there was a second animated series, 1992. And then the movie came first, then the second animated series, and then Addams Family Values, and then Addams Family Reunion, and then the new Addams Family, which was a TV show. That didn't do too good. That kind of tanked.
I never watched it.
And then along came Wednesday, and Wednesday's doing quite well. Wednesday's
great. If you guys, that's another. We'll pitch that now. I mean, Wednesday. If you didn't see the Netflix one, was on about a year ago or so.
Yeah. And season 2 is coming. They've been teasing.
They're doing a season 2. It was great. I really enjoyed it.
It was smart. It kind of reclaimed what the Addams Family was: smart, clever.
Yeah.
And Wednesday is just.
Chris said they did a reunion show with the original cast.
They did. That was in the 70s. Yeah.
Yeah. I must have missed that. I don't remember it.
I think it was a one-off.
Oh yeah, I'm sure it was. I just don't remember it. But anyway, getting back to that, and then of course Christopher Lloyd. Now Christopher Lloyd was coming off much of his success with Back to the Future. He was a name, definitely a name.
Yeah, he was known.
Yeah,
I'm watching interviews, and so many people like saying how amazing he was at Fester. And you know what? He really was. We have to give him credit because, like in Taxi and in Back to the Future, he's tall, thin, lanky. Maybe he's not super tall, but thin. Right. And everyone was like, I don't know if we can see him as Fester because Fester is traditionally short and kind of stout.
Kind of portly.
The man physically, like, bent his knees and kind of slouched a little bit and made himself. I mean, that is a.
I think they built him up too. Like even in the scene,
the costume and everything too.
Yeah, but because the scenes where he really has hair.
Yeah, yeah,
he's definitely got padding.
Yeah, he has padding, but like the man was putting in a very physical performance as well as his. I credit to him, man. That's just amazing because he did embody Fester.
They say he has a very interesting acting process. That he kind of gets focused. Like for instance, there's a lot of stuff when he did Star Trek.
Oh yeah, when he
would do like when he's down on the planet and he's talking, supposed to be asked to beam up. He kept like looking up and shouting at the sky, like, and they're like, no. Even Shatner was like, you haven't communicated a thing, talking to the, and no matter what they did, he would still shout.
Well, so you know what? He was commanding his ship from the planet. Beam me up.
I was able to meet him briefly in Vegas because he was there signing autographs. No really chance to talk. He's in his late 80s, I think now.
Yeah.
It's interesting if you go back and you look. A lot of the cast, like Raul and even Angelica, they were all like in their 40s and 50s when they did this movie. They were all kind of older than they should have been, considering they had children of pretty young ages.
Yeah, how old would
I mean, that's irrelevant, but I mean, it just.
Yeah, it didn't matter. It doesn't matter. It worked. It worked.
No, there was, again, the casting was spot
on. Gomez, Colin, Morticia, Catamia, and just loving her and adoring her. That's the thing about this family. Although, the Munsters kind of did it too. This family loves and supports each other in whatever evil wackadoo scheme they've got cooked up. They love and support each other. They were like kind of, the weirder the better. And they were kind of, I think, meant to be the polar opposite of maybe what was being portrayed as a typical American family for a while on television, or maybe at least back when they were just a cartoon in the New Yorker, maybe back then, which is kind of sad.
Yeah.
What's that commentary? What commentary was Charles Addams making on society with the Addams Family?
Yeah. Trying to look at some stuff that right, that they never do explain how they got their wealth.
No.
I do like that scene. So that I like the way they did embellish, because we knew that was always the thing on the TV show, that they had virtually unlimited wealth.
Yes,
so they could live like this kind of childlike existence, and somehow they just keep falling into money, whether it's through investments or whatever. So the whole point of Fester trying to steal the money and his alleged mother, Dr. Pinderschloss,
trying to steal the money. So generally described from the jump, from the cartoon, eccentric, wealthy, aristocratic clan who delight in the macabre and are seemingly either unaware or simply do not care that other people find them bizarre or frightening.
Well, in the TV show, and I think they did this this translated to the movie, is that it's not that I don't think that they never realized that the way they acted was abnormal.
No.
They thought that everybody, there's the great scene when they go to the school and the teacher's like, I need to talk to you about Wednesday. And, we have who do you think you look up to, or something like that? And then one of them was like, this girl wrote Barack Obama. What was he? What was she? I forgot. Have you talked to her parents?
Well, you speak
and of course, Wednesday had picked somebody who was burned at the stake or something.
Yeah, like one of her distant ancestors who was tormented.
It's always like they don't. The great thing about it is they don't realize that everybody else thinks they're weird.
No, they don't. And they don't care. Even if they do realize it, they don't care. They are very much about their own purposes, but not in a malicious way.
No, they're not evil in any way.
No.
They're just bizarre.
Yeah.
Chris saying, I think there was pirate treasure, hence the tradition of sword fighting. You might be right, because actually there's a lot of doubloons. That's when he pays
Oh, that's right. He pays
the lawyer Sully or whatever. He pays him in golden like doubloons, like like those Spanish. They look like they look like pirate treasure.
Yeah, little pirate treasures. Yeah.
But getting back to the scene where he finally takes Fester to the vault, and he pulls the book out, and you think, okay, it's just going to be behind this door or something, and then it turns into this elaborate amusement park level event to get to the vault. Not only they go down this slide thing, and they end up in this underground cistern or something. I don't know what it was, like under flooded like lake under the, and then the gondola ride.
Yeah, the gondola ride, like Phantom of the Opera.
And then he gets to the vault, and it's not anything until he hits he picks up another door and it spins around, and it's like the Holy Grail back there. And
he's like, "Do you remember the password? Not the password, the
code? The combination.
2, 10, 11. Eyes, fingers, toes." Of course, you remember eyes, fingers, toes.
So, and then I do like the way they incorporated a lot of stuff from the TV show.
They really did.
The garden that basically will eat people.
Yeah.
They did that. The trains. I mean, the train as a kid, you loved the trains, how they'd always crash the trains. And it was like, but interestingly enough, there was a cameo on the train.
Yes, there was the director himself.
The director was the guy on the train.
Was the like teeny teddy guy on the train. Yeah. It was a rough shoot. It was not the best shoot ever. They ended up behind schedule and about $5 million over budget, as well as a few other woes. So while they were shooting, in the middle of shooting, they were being made by Orion Pictures, and in the middle of shooting, Orion decided to declare bankruptcy, and so it sold them off to Paramount, like sold the movie off to Paramount, which was kind of a shame because they were so wildly successful. If Orion had kept it, it might have bailed them out of bankruptcy. But they had a few other problems. The Barry Sonnenfeld fainted on set because he was working so hard, because what happened was their DP quit. The first DP quit or something, so that delayed them. And then the next DP got hospitalized. So Sonnenfeld himself took over the DP role for a bunch of shots. Raoul burst a blood vessel in his eye at some point. Sonnenfeld's wife got sick and had to be hospitalized. Like, it was just all these weird little bumps in the road. And so it was a kind of a long, grueling shoot, but I think they genuinely, it's a labor of love for all of them. I think they genuinely enjoyed working on it and were proud of the final product that they made. It clearly is a loving homage to the original Addams Family.
I think it comes out in the end that they actually enjoyed working on it. I think some of the acting and the delivery of stuff is just so spot on. I mean, there's the one scene where Gomez is kind of becoming suspicious of Fester, that he is really Fester because he doesn't remember the password and he doesn't remember this, things that keep triggering him. And then, of course, they call the doctor back who's in on it, and she's like trying to explain. Yeah. And she knows that one line. She's like, that little dark, what she said, I forgot the exact little dark thing, and he goes, Pugsley.
She's like, oh, it's a very
displacement or something or whatever.
Yeah, displacement. Yeah. Yeah, he was really funny, and she's like, it's terrible, horrible thing, and they're both like, yeah, it's like they both lean into it.
Is it unpleasant?
Very unpleasant. It's deeply unpleasant, and they're like, like, yeah, I love that about them. It
just fits so well. And of course, my favorite line, of course, of the whole movie, which is in my tagline, is when he says, they say, someone who has, is like, whether the lawyer is a client. How's the line go? Somebody help me out. I'm having a brain fart.
I can't think of it right with
that. Anybody who represents them themselves has a client for a fool, and he says, "As God is my witness, I am that fool." So that's when I think the following scenes with them in the hotel room, and he's like just sitting there eating a bucket of chicken.
Yeah. So
I found that really funny.
No, because it's just so, it's like, it's the mix of seeing like normal people try to deal with them. Like, it's just so funny. Cher really, really wanted Morticia, and I guess I can kind of see Cher as Morticia, but the studio wanted Angelica from the get go, and I
can't see Cher. I mean, Cher had the look,
Yeah, Cher had the look, but yeah. They wanted Tim Burton to direct, but he was busy with Batman Returns, so he turned it down. And they also tried for Terry Gilliam. I don't know if Terry would have captured.
I don't know. I mean, I think Tim's would have been interesting, but I don't think Tim Burton's version would have been the same.
Yeah, agree.
It would have been more darker. It would have been more darker. It would have been darker. And not in a good way. I think it just would have been weirder.
I think I agree. I think I agree with that.
You know,
Tim Burton maybe might have got it, but he would have made it. You know,
might have been an interesting take on it, but I didn't. Yeah. Again, I think it would lose some of the lightheartedness of it.
Yeah, and that's what makes
it. He would have stuck in some dark moments because there really weren't any dark moments.
No,
they all were kind of, even when it kind of got. You know what I'm saying? It was still kind of silly.
The darkest was in the humor, like when the two bodies go flying into the coffins and the coffins snap shut. Pugsley's like, "Are they dead?" And Wednesday's like, "Does it matter?" Like that was the darkness of it, and it's funny, you know what I mean? So it's like, I don't know. Angelica based her performance on Jerry Hall. If you guys don't know who Jerry Hall is, she was a supermodel who was married to Mick Jagger for a while there, but she's this tall, long, leggy blonde who, I guess, yeah, I see it. She was kind of that way. And then they got Jimmy Workman, who played Pugsley. They got him only because his sister was auditioning for Wednesday. And she obviously didn't get Wednesday, but she just randomly was like, "Yeah, my brother looks like Pugsley." And they were like, "Oh, was he out in the waiting room? Bring him in." like he wasn't going to audition, but they were just like, "Yeah, let's bring him in." So.
Excuse me. Alex was asking if Burton did the Wednesday show.
Oh.
I don't know that. Did he?
You'd
have to look it up on IMDb. The IMDb thing would tell you.
Wednesday television show overview cast. Wait, where's IMDb? Nope, not that.
While we're waiting.
Sorry, I'm slow today. I had other information to tell you guys.
I had another, but the other scene that I thought was hysterical is when the kids do the scene from, was it the Macbeth or?
Oh yeah, no, it's either Hamlet or Macbeth. Where there's
I don't know which one. I'm not a big on Shakespeare, but then of course they add the actual blood in there, and of course it doesn't just bleed. It's like a guy's blood, and it's literally covering the first 4 or 5 rows.
Yeah. So yeah, and they're all just sitting, and that was like the funniest bit of them, just like the whole audience, just like, and if you look behind the front rows of the audience, they're like this, like, but if you look behind them, the Addams Family, like Morticia and Gomez and Fester, they're all back there, and they're all like,
yeah, they're all loving, and of course they didn't get a drop of blood on them.
Alex, Tim Burton directed 6 episodes, but there was 4 other directors that did a total of 9 of other episodes. So it was kind of a mixed bag. I don't know that it was specifically created by Tim Burton, but
you could see there's definitely, because that show's a bit darker.
It is a bit darker, yeah.
By far, but it's good.
Brought it to 2020. Right? This was 1991. They brought it up.
It was cast really well. I think. Did we see Pugsley in? Yeah, Pugsley.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was just a random brother. What other information do I have for you? The Addams Family has shockingly healthy, like they're a really healthy family. They love and support each other, and they're very functional. They're just weird.
So some of the other casting that we of course, Christopher Lloyd, we have a connection there with Star Trek, but there's another Star Trek connection.
Dan Hedaya?
Mr. Holm from TNG.
Oh, Carl Strickland. Yes. Carol.
Who plays Lurch.
Who I think enjoys the naked thing that Luxwana likes to do.
Yeah.
Like I always got that impression that he was
he's drinking. There's one episode of TNG where he's like drinking the leftover wine or something. So another one notable of the era is Dan Hedaya, who played Tully. He was the lawyer. Of course, he's been in a ton of stuff. I think the first thing I ever saw him, he was Carla's ex-husband in Cheers. If you remember that. You remember, his lovely wife.
But he was like Hill Street Blue. He was like one of those guys.
Yeah, he was like in everything. One of the funnier movies I think he was in was Joe versus the Volcano with Tom Hanks.
Oh my God.
He just has this one scene that's hysterical.
Very interesting as a luggage.
I know he can get there. He's on the phone and he just keeps repeating the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
To whoever he's talking to. It's a scene that, when it's like when Family Guy takes a joke and they keep doing it over and over and over and over.
Yeah.
It's stupid and then it gets funny again. It's kind of like that. So, he actually, if you see him today and he's in his 80s, he looks, I think out of all of them, aged the best.
Probably.
Yeah, he actually looks the same as he did.
Chris is saying this movie, it was the right people in the right place for the cast. Yeah, you know what it is, Chris, is that these actors are not trying to be fun. They're not trying to deliver funny or comedic performances. They're trying to be earnest. They're trying to actually be and do and say what these people, the Addams Family, would actually do and say, because the character itself is already absurd and they're in absurd situations. So all they have to do is be earnest, and it kind of all works out. So yeah.
Yeah, no, it's true. I think that's a very accurate assessment.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of who else is in there. Carl, we talked about Christina Ricci, of course, but went on to do several other things, including in the current Wednesday. She plays a character, not Wednesday, obviously. She did a movie we did, was it last year or the year before, I think around this time, which was Sleepy Hollow, among other movies. So she's around.
Yeah, there are a couple, Sally Jesse did a cameo, whatever. I don't care for her.
So once you get down, the guy that plays the judge, I can't think of his name. He's in it.
Yeah, he's around. Paul Benedict.
Yeah, he was in it. Yeah,
you'd recognize his face even if you weren't sure of the name.
Yeah, he was in a TV show. What the heck was it? Was it back in the 70s?
He was in A Mighty Wind. He was in
he was like a
he's in The Goodbye Girl.
Man with Two Brains.
The gang that couldn't shoot straight. The Man with Two Brains. Yeah.
All of the Family.
Oh, this is Spinal Tap. He was in Spinal Tap.
He was in All of the Family. That's what it was.
Cocktail.
Yeah.
All in the Family.
Yeah.
Attack of the 50-Foot Woman. Waiting for Guffman. A Mighty Wind. Oh, so he did a bunch. So Guffman, Mighty Wind, and what was the one I just said there? Those are a bunch. I love those movies. Those are all Christopher Guest and Eugene Levy and those guys. I love those movies. So the other thing we can talk about this movie, Rizzo, is that no CGI.
These were pretty much this was 91, so it was all
91. I mean, we had.
Yeah, I mean, it was very early in the CGI era, so it wouldn't surprise me that everything was.
Somebody's from the Jeffersons, and we're missing it. Sorry, Chris. Yeah, I mean, no,
he was from the Jeffersons. CGI Jefferson was a spinoff of All in the Family.
Yeah. But yeah, no, all in camera and practical effects. I think it looked good. I thought it aged really well. I don't see this movie's dated at all. No, it's not dated at all.
I mean, the only thing you would add now is everybody would have a cell phone.
Yeah.
So I like the effect of
Oh yeah, the thing. Yeah, Chris, you're right. The guy had the fake wrist attached to his hand, but it was still a guy. It was a little bit CGI. You mean hand or thing, Chris? The hand was
a real person.
Slightly.
Yeah.
Slightly.
Swap it out, just like the real show. They would.
But just like in Wednesday, the Wednesday show still does a hand the same way. It's a human hand. It's a guy, and then they put a fake wrist coming up this way off of him, and it goes like this.
Yeah, in the original show, it was actually the actor that played Lurch. It was his hand, unless they had to be in the scene together. Then it was somebody
really?
else.
No, somebody else.
And they would switch it out, I think, whether it was left or right hand, just to see if people noticed.
On the original show, was Cousin It Felix Silla?
Yeah, I believe so. And I was going to mention that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I believe it was Felix, who is also no longer with us. But we were fortunate enough to
Get to meet him.
Get to meet him at the one of the Trek Conderogas, one of the earlier ones.
Yeah, he came way back.
He was, and I got to talk to him again. I saw him in Las Vegas, I think that following summer, and he was just the night. You know, he was the kind of guy where you talk to him, and you just start talking about life.
Yeah,
just like not anything related to what he was doing, and he was just a really sweet man. So it's a shame that he's no longer with us, but he did a lot of stuff.
Yeah, his IMDb is
a lot. Yeah, I have a book that he wrote and has all his characters that he played over the years. So it's a shame, but yeah, it was played by John Franklin, who's done a bunch of stuff. Probably one of those you wouldn't recognize unless you knew you were looking for him.
Yeah, Sue is saying that John Franklin played Kip on an episode of Voyager, and yeah,
yep, he was on Voyager. That's another Star Trek connection.
Yep.
So, what was I going to say? I was going to talk about the books.
Oh yeah.
So there is a little bit of, what's the word I'm looking for? Not magic. I guess magic is the right word.
Yeah.
So the books, you open it up and it's about a hurricane, and of course now there's a hurricane in the room, or that kind of thing. Or,
the Windy book. Yeah. Which is like Harry Potter-esque. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a kind of very Of course, the book that opens the vault or gets you to the next first level of the vault is Greed, and the author is J.P. Addams.
Oh, so, really?
This is basically that's a spoof on J. Pierre Morgan, the AK J.P. Morgan.
Oh, kind of like E.F.
It was supposed to be a joke.
Okay.
So.
There's probably a million little Easter eggs, and I'm really surprised. As I was trying to prepare for tonight, I'm really surprised that I didn't see breakdowns of this movie.
Yeah, there's not a lot of information about the movie itself.
There really isn't.
No behind the scenes kind of stuff. We couldn't find anything. There just wasn't a lot about it, other than it was successful.
Yep.
And obviously enough that they made the second movie, which. Phil wants us to do. Phil did after last week. Phil wants us to do Addams Family Values, which is because it's a Thanksgiving movie. So if that's something you guys.
So he's like, do it for Thanksgiving.
We usually do a very light show that Wednesday before Thanksgiving, as everybody prepares for the big feast the next day. So maybe if that's something you guys want to do.
Or any other Thanksgiving suggestions.
Or any other Thanksgiving suggestions.
Of all the holidays that we do shows for, that one's one of the harder ones.
Yeah, there's not a lot of Thanksgiving movies.
No, not a lot of Thanksgiving movies.
So I don't know. Alex is saying that's a great idea. Is it a great idea to do the Addams Family Value? Is that what you're responding to? I don't know, because the delay. You got to guys remember. There's when you post something, it's like something we talked about.
Yeah, it's a good 20 seconds.
I don't know. Kind of have to. So I don't know what else to say about this movie. I mean, there's just so many good things. I love the scenes in the cemetery, which is of course adjacent to their house.
Yes. Let's play. What was the name of the game? Dig and.
Let's wake up the dead. Wake the dead.
Wake the dead. Wake the dead.
So they actually
Wake the Dead.
Yell. They dig them up. They play like punch buggy.
I found a great aunt. Whoever.
How many heads and skulls and arms and it's just.
Oh.
The other thing that I liked that they did again, it was a connection to the original, was him golfing and just.
And the neighbor.
So and of course
I love that.
The ball.
It was all the not subtle, but just all the little gags. Like she's trying to. Angelica's Morticia's sitting there talking to Grandmama, and here comes Wednesday with a knife, like a machete knife, and she's like, Wednesday, stop. Is that for your brother? No, dear, that will not do. And she takes it away, and then she gives her this giant, huge axe, like a battle axe.
Yeah.
Use this.
Yeah.
Like they actively encourage murdering each other.
She's always trying to kill Pugsley, and it's
she's always trying to kill Pugsley.
It's like, do you want to play? Is there a God?
Yeah, we call this game, Is There a God? And then Morticia comes to stop him. It's like, but he wants to do it. Like he wants to. All right, just this once, and then we have to leave.
Which is another weird thing, that there's some kind of supernatural bit about this family because
they survive this. Yeah,
they survive all this stuff.
They survive
like little things they do from the TV show. Her cutting the roses off the stems, just planting the stems and no roses. That was kind of a thing. I love the scene when they're down in the vault and he's looking for the particular film.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden there's something in the box. You never see what it is. And he grabs this big like mallet thing and
and he's just hitting something in the box, but you don't see what, like the box kind of rattles, and then he just grabs something.
Like it looks. Whoa! It's just the way he hits it. Like he's just like. I don't know.
What was this thing rated? Was it actually PG?
Probably
13. It was PG-13.
It was 13, really.
Yeah.
I don't know what was 13 about it.
Trying to murder each other all the time.
Probably the blood in the play scene,
the blood
and just the general macabreness of it.
Yeah.
Probably some kids might find.
But there wasn't any curse words. I don't remember swearing.
No, it must have been just the darker.
No sex. I mean, there's implied sex. There's implied kinky.
Well, I mean, his caramia.
Caramia. It's caramia.
Tish. Yeah. You spoke French.
Tish. Oh, Tish. Oh, Tish. That's French. Oui.
Caramia.
You were unhinged. Do it again. It's so good. It's so good. Yeah, if you're looking for something to watch with the family, that's kind of in the spirit of the season.
It's a light Halloween movie.
It's light and fluffy. And I said this at the top of the show. There's no real plot, guys. It's not plot. That's not why you're watching it.
I mean, there is a plot.
There is a plot. Yeah, there is a plot.
I mean, the plot is the scene where they have the big party.
Yeah.
For Fester, and they do the mamushka.
Yeah, the mamushka
dance. That was cut down considerably.
Yeah, I heard that was longer.
There's a lot of more singing between the two brothers. Then you can actually, if you go on YouTube, you can find it. You just probably put in Addams Family 1991. You'll see the full extended version or whatever they call it of the mamushka dance.
The mamushka scene,
because it's more singing than dancing. But I guess they cut it. I don't know if they cut it for time or they felt it didn't fit.
I believe test audiences were like, yeah, that's too long.
I think the dancing part where they're just throwing the knives back and forth and it's more of almost like a circus act.
Yeah, it is a bit circus-y.
I think people responded to it, and I think it does flow faster than them stopping and just singing.
He directed all of that in a tux to like be in the spirit of.
Yeah. Well, that whole scene had a very it was a little bit of Rocky Horror to me.
Yeah. Yes. I see that.
It was a little bit of what was the other movie? Almost Shining in it when they had that scene with all the dancing. A little bit. But it was just like when you get that large, you kind of what it reminded me a lot of is anybody who's ever done the Haunted Mansion ride at Disney World.
Yes.
There's the scene where you see them all, the ballroom dancing, and it kind of reminded me of that because it had that very kind of grandiose and people wearing more period piece, like not modern.
Yeah,
people were everything was like from the Victorian era
or ethnic or dead for a while, kind of. They were rocking the dead for 100 years look, some of them.
Yeah, and they did bring back now Flora and Fauna. That actually I think was pulled from the show. Maybe
and
not
the
by
cousin,
name,
the big tall cousin.
They definitely had the Siamese twin girls. I remember that was like from the TV show.
That's funny.
So, and then the one kid who's like the hunchback.
Yeah, can't think of his name, but
yeah.
He was dancing with
another cousin. Somebody. They're all cousins, which is interesting because it tells you that the Addams Family is not unique. There's other Addams all over the world. There's a lot of these weirdos.
They're far and wide. So. But yeah, I just like again going back to compare them to the Munsters again. There's just a certain sophistication with the Addams Family that you don't get with the Munsters.
Yeah, and I'm not taking anything away from the Munsters.
No, they were fun too.
It was a decent show in its own right, and it had its
own. They were fun in their own way.
I think the Munsters, to me at the time, and I think that's what their goal was. They were trying to fit into this Leave It to Beaver kind of
Yes.
meets Universal Monsters. You know,
Yeah.
it was that kind of crossover.
And they were a bit earlier.
They were a bit earlier. But I do believe that the Addams Family got better ratings.
So the Munsters were 1964. Addams Family was 1968, I think.
Thankfully, they didn't try to do it in color.
American sitcom. 1964. These things were competing with each other.
Yeah, that's what I thought. They were competing.
Wow, I didn't know that. Oh, I'm hands down an Addams Family girl.
Easy. Yeah, I agree. I mean, if I had to pick between the two, it's Addams Family's better.
The Munsters. I didn't like the way they always had the one pretty girl cousin, and
she was the niece.
Yeah, the niece or whatever.
Yeah.
And Herman was it was very sitcom. It was very American sitcom. And Herman was just dumb. Herman did some dumb things.
Well, again, they were following that formula, that almost like Honeymooners kind of formula.
Yeah, which goes on today. Like
he wasn't quite that
formula. The dumb husband,
quite the horrible person as Ralph Cramden was.
Well, yeah.
So, because he was actually a nice guy. You're right. He was just stupid. He was just fairly generally dumb. So
that gets tiring after a while. Whereas Gomez was quite smart, and and like you said, eternal optimist.
Yeah, he was always, like you said, he was always up. And again, he had a bit of a childlike attitude towards him, because I guess, he's just like, I got money. I don't have to worry about anything. I just play.
I can just do what I want. Yeah.
Yeah. Like whatever I do, I throw money at, I make more money.
Yeah.
You see this too, that their wealth is ridiculous when they go to the auction and they start bidding on their own items.
Yeah, and they're like 50,000. Yeah.
They get up to 50, nobody else is bidding on it. It's just the two of them bidding against each other.
Yeah. Like, okay, whatever. Bill wants to know if I'm dressing as Morticia. We just talked about that before the show started. I said if we had been smart and if we were able to plan ahead like normal people, we would have gone as Morticia and Gomez. But alas, no. We are
next week. We're getting near the end of the hour anyway. Next week, of course, Roy and Ross will be coming on our show. Normally, on Halloween we go to theirs, but this year, because of the way the dates are working out, they're going to come here. We're going to do Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein.
Yes,
so that should be a fun one, and we will have costumes, but you will not know the costumes until you tune in. They don't tell us what they're going as. We don't tell them.
Nope, we all surprise each other. And so you guys feel free to watch in costume too.
Yeah, you can watch in costume. We won't know. So
we won't know. But hey, we welcome you to join in the chaos because
And then speaking of costumes, if you want to mention this weekend.
Oh yes, this weekend. So if you are around and you wish to join us, we are having Halloween at the Star Trek set tour. And he wanted this year a theme of Mirror Mirror and Cat's Paw. So Saturday, October 26th, join us for spooky fun and haunted tours all day long. Come in your best Trek costume for the chance to win 2 free event general admissions to our upcoming William Shatner event. You got to be available for the William Shatner event. And we will have screenings of Mirror Mirror and Cat's Paw. I will be in costume. Rizzo will be in costume. I think there's going to be candy, and there will just be fun all around. So we'd love to see you.
It's a James event, so there's going to be candy.
Yeah, there will be candy.
He's like a candy crazy. He's candy crazy.
Yep.
So that's so they got that going on, and of course Shatner in November. So,
and then Shatner in November. We'll talk about that more when that gets closer.
So what does Phil got going on?
Phil does have something going on that he wanted me to mention. Let me pull that up. Roy this weekend is going to finally get to Something Wicked This Way Comes, because he had to put it off. He was going to do it like 2 weeks ago, and then he had to put it off. That is one of my favorite movies. So that will be a fun one. But Phil will be back with Bill McNulty tomorrow at noon on the Politics Show. Rizzo and I jumped in on that last week, and it was pretty funny. And
yeah,
then
that was interesting. If you were listening to that, expecting some political
we went
commentary,
we spoke our minds, and no one shot us. And then he does have some fun Halloween stuff happening next week on Thursday and Friday. So tune in for all of that.
Okay, well, that's a lot. So, final thoughts on this movie, just to wrap things up. It just works. I think it just works on so many levels. I don't know how else to. You don't have to cover because there's nobody. You're just coughing at.
I know, but I'm trying to muffle the sound. Like, you don't want me to cough into the camera, into the microphone.
That would be gross.
That would be gross. I'm trying to muffle the hacking noise.
Fair
anyway,
enough.
What were you saying about
Anyway, I was going to say this movie just works on many levels. It's just fun. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. It's a good Halloween movie. I think it's, even though it's PG-13, I really can't see anything that would be offensive to smaller children. Like I said, some of the blood, maybe, but maybe in 1991 it was. Probably if this was made today,
obviously fake
blood, it would probably not be PG-13. I bet you its rating would be PG.
Yeah. Bill, how was your new hip, by the way? I hope it's healing up for you.
Well, so he can stay ahead of his creditors. Got to run.
Yeah, Rizzo, I agree with your assessment. It's a really fun movie. It pays loving nod to not just the Addams Family television show, but all the way back to the original Addams Family. And it wasn't even called. The original cartoon was actually not even called the Addams Family. It was just, it was a cartoon that appeared in the New Yorker by Charles Addams. They probably just started calling it the Addams Family because it was by Charles Addams. And yeah, it's smart, it's clever. It's sophisticated in a way, and it's just but it's also kind of dumb and silly and just joyous. So yeah check it out.
Fun. It's a good fun movie. Put a smile on your face. There's definitely some laugh out loud moments, at least there was for me.
There were a couple.
So anyway, on that note, we'll say goodnight. Next week we'll be back once again. Roy and Ross will be here. We're going to be on time,
and end on time. It'll only be an hour.
It'll still be only an hour.
We're not doing the whole hour, 2 hour extravaganza.
I don't know if we even have an hour on Abbott Costello Meet Frankenstein.
No, we probably don't, but
But we'll have fun with it.
We'll talk.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of a fun Halloweeny movie to do with them. That's kind of, I don't know. Couldn't think of anything really else to do.
That's all good. It's all good.
All right. On that note, we'll say goodnight for now. We'll see you next week. In the meantime, happy Halloween, live long and prosper, and may the force be with you always. Good night.